Oh yes. Oh yes. Strawberry Peak. That's where we're going today. Hey everybody. My name is Grimace. You're watching The Bespoke Woodsman. And this channel is about hiking, backpacking gear. Those kinds of things interest you, please click subscribe. Please click the notification bell. Would love to have you along with me. Today, I am hiking up to Strawberry Peak. I may also hit another peak or two in the area, TBD. But the big one is Strawberry Peak. I've got a new Katabatic Gear Nick Lightskin 40 that I'm taking out for a spin. We'll see how that responds, how it fits. So far, so good. It's really cushioned shoulder pads, which I like. I was in a Mountain Moral Designs burn, and a couple of things between the pockets. The water bottles didn't fit super well in the pockets. Going over some snow. So like I was saying, between water bottles not really staying well in the pockets, they're just too high up. So it's not that they didn't stay well. It said it was really hard to get them out without taking off the entire pack, even swinging it around. I'd taken off one shoulder and swinging it around, it was hard. So I think this Katabatic Gear Nick will work better for that. And it does have these wide shoulder pads. And other than that, it's a very similar pack. It's made of a light skin material as opposed to Dyneema composite fabric, which the burn was made out of, is made out of. Light skin is a newer fabric made by a sail manufacturer. Seems relatively waterproof. I mean, maybe not as waterproof as Dyneema, but pretty close. Anyway, it's one I had my eye on. It was between the burn and the Nick. I went with the burn, and then I went with the Nick. So now I've got both. Never hurts to have another frameless pack, I suppose. Just to have options. Still figuring this all out. Today's hike is part of a training that I'm doing, I guess. I didn't want to do a bunch of backpacking during the winter. It just doesn't appeal to me necessarily. But I have a bit of a challenge hike in mind. So I want to get out and just get miles on the trail. Just conditioning my body. I mentioned in my 5 goals for 2020 video that I want to be getting in better shape. So I've been working out the last couple of weeks, 5 times a week. And then last week I did a 7.5 mile hike. And then obviously this week I'm doing this hike. I don't know how long it will be yet, but it will be, like I said, just getting miles on, because what I want to do, if you saw my Trans-Catalina Trail video, you know that I was sort of forced off trail, and I've been wanting to go back and do it, but I had an idea, and I'm just putting this out now. I haven't really said this out loud. Trans-Catalina Trail is generally done as a 4-day, 3-night hike. That was my goal when I did it. But in sort of getting to know the trail, I realized there's no real reason you couldn't do it as an overnight. Which is a bit crazy for me anyway. It's about a 44-mile hike. So I would be doing 23 miles in the first day, I believe, 21 in the second day. But what's really cool about the Catalina Trail is, first of all, once you're at a Blackjack campground, which is where you usually stay the first night, you've kind of done your big elevation gain, at least for the first couple of days. Certainly on the other end of the island past Two Harbors, there's another pretty big climb. But the big one is really getting to Blackjack. And so once you've done that, extending, it's just a matter of going downhill. On top of that, at the Two Harbors campground, they have tent cabins. So they are, you know, large structures that are enclosed, freestanding. I mean, they already exist. They're like cabins made of canvas. So I think, well, not I think, it would help me. I would be able to cut out the weight of a tent, because I would have, you see that little chipmunk? Because I would have a bed to sleep in on the overnight. Having a bed to sleep in obviously changes a lot of things. I would still take like my emergency bivvy just in case, but wouldn't have to carry a full tent. And I know I don't have to carry a full tent, but that is, I like being enclosed when I sleep. I haven't delved into bivvies and tarps yet. Anyway, so I would be able to do that. I would actually be able to run with a pretty light fuel food loadout too, and fuel and a stove. I probably wouldn't bring a stove at all, because the one night would be in Two Harbors, and I could just go to the general store and get something to eat. So all I would really need to carry would be snacks. Anyway, I'm still thinking about it. I'm still working it out. But in the meantime, I figured why not start to condition my body. If I were to do it, because I hike slow, you know, 23 miles in a day is not insignificant to anyone, but especially to me. So I really want to work up to that. If I were to do it, it would have to be on a pretty long day, so maybe in June, like late June. Anyway, so now you know one of the sort of challenge hikes I have in mind. I do have another one that's even more ambitious. Ooh, boy. Motorcycles on the 2 freeway. Going up those mountain roads, letting loose. So yeah, so I do have another one in mind that I don't want to talk about just yet, because I haven't even done the bare bones logistics yet. Anyway, so I may have some more trip videos like this, just because I may be doing more hiking than I expected to do in the winter. So, can't be all bad, right? Right? One thing I've been wanting to talk about on this channel for a while is my name. Both Grimace and the Bespoke Woodsman. Why Bespoke Woodsman? Why Grimace? I thought I would do my own video, like one video that was just that, but it's just not really enough content. So I'll just put it in this video. As for Grimace, that's a name I've had really since high school, that has followed me around. It's not specifically a trail name, it's more of a nickname. I think if a trail name were to present itself, maybe I would use that instead of Grimace, but for now, Grimace it is. It started at the lunch table. My friends would do impressions of like Sesame Street characters and Muppets, just sort of to entertain each other, because, you know, we were real cool. And one day, I did an impression of Grimace, the purple character from McDonald's. Now, I'm not going to show you the impression. I don't do the impression. I haven't done the impression in 20 years. But they loved it. My friends, ate it up. And they would ask for it all the time. And when I went to college, one of my friends came to visit. And he was calling me Grimace. And then everyone asked for the story. And then they wanted to see it. I never showed it to them, but then they would start calling me Grimace. It went from like show us Grimace to just Grimace. And that became my name. And it has just sort of followed me through my entire life. So if you get a nickname, make sure it's one you like. For Why Bespoke Woodsman? Well, there are three things I love in this world. One is baseball, though I'm an Astros fan, so that's not a whole lot of fun right now. The second is hiking, backpacking. And the third is menswear. I know that seems crazy, but I wear a suit almost every single day. I wear bow ties, lapel pins, pocket squares. I really like to go all out. I have a couple of bespoke suits, and I'm really into it. Like, I really enjoy it. So I thought, what separates me apart from every other person with a YouTube channel? And one is, well, I'm bad at this and they're good at this. And the second is that I wear suits every day. Maybe they do. I know there was a video of Blue Boy once coming home from work, and he was in a really nice three-piece suit. But for the most part, I think that sets me apart a bit. Starting to get tricky here. Anyway, so I thought when I first started this channel that I would be talking about menswear also, but it just hasn't really worked out that way, and that's okay. I think you see so much advice about just stick to one thing, and I think backpacking really has consumed so much of my thought, and it's all I really want to talk about on the channel. Maybe one day I'll show you how to tie a bow tie, but until then I'll just show you how to tie a trucker's hitch. Ooh, it's getting challenging. So that is the origin of Grimace and of Bespoke Woodsman. And now you know. Completely forgot to take video from the top of Strawberry Peak. That was tough. It got real hard at the end. It's about 2 miles, pretty easy. And the rest of the way is not easy. But I'm on my way back. Just a quick out and back. I was gonna hit maybe some other peaks, but that took it out of me. Still some more work to do as far as conditioning. That hike should have been a lot easier. And I was just so winded and so out of breath and so caught up in the moment. And people were up there, and I just forgot to pull out the phone to videotape it. Anyway, videotape. Do you guys even know what videotape is? Videotape. I'm gonna hike out now. We'll see what awaits at the bottom. Probably just going home. Nice little hike though. Do you guys get Nordic Track commercials when you're watching YouTube? I really did in December. I'm still getting some. Like these Nordic Track with iFit. I don't, like, they look so awesome. It's $3,500 and I wouldn't use it, so I'm not getting it. Man, I see like real life scenery like this, and all I can really think sometimes is like, wouldn't this look cool on the Nordic Track? Man, what a neat track for the Nordic. I'm here in real life. I'm like actually seeing it. And in my head, I'm like, man, if only I had that Nordic track. Listen, Nordic track, I'm sure you're watching all of the videos ever put out by any backpacker, hiker. Man, listen, I would be happy to talk about Nordic track to my 20 followers anytime. So, you know, send me that $3,500 Nordic track and I'll get you 6, 7 impressions. Now, that's a deal you can't beat. I talked a bit about my Trans-Catalina Trail idea. My other big trip for the year, I like to do a big end of season trip every year. I did Yosemite a few years ago, or not Yosemite, yeah, I did Sequoia a few years ago. I did Trans-Catalina Trail this year. Last year I was in Vermont, so I didn't really get a chance to do that kind of a trip. But this coming year, 2020, I think I want to do the Timberline Trail around Mount Hood. I haven't looked into what the weather is like in November. I suspect it's very cold. But the trail itself looks absolutely gorgeous. I've seen a few videos of it. I've checked it out. I've checked out quite a bit of it. And it looks incredible. So I think it might be fun to get 3 or 4 people to go up to Oregon with me and do that in maybe 2 nights or something. It's a 40-mile trail. 3 days, 2 nights, something like that. Might be pretty fun. So that's the idea I have. If I don't do that, TBD, because there will be a lot of snow, obviously. Maybe I would do the California riding and hiking. Maybe I would do the California riding and hiking trail, something like that instead. But I would like to attempt it if the weather holds. The other thing I've thought about doing is like a PCT section hike. Maybe Idlewild to Big Bear, something like that. Or even Idlewild all the way to Vasquez Rocks. Weather could get tricky then, because if I'm not mistaken, that would go through San Gorgonio National Monument, which is a lot of elevation and it has snow on it right now. So I don't know if that would be feasible in for a Thanksgiving trip, which is what I like to do. But it's another idea that I had. I've been reading Adventure Allen's blog for years. He actually started a YouTube recently. You should check that out if you haven't already. But he has some hiking tips or some training tips for big hikes that I'm going to start incorporating into my workouts. He talks about, for instance, I got a weighted vest, 20-pound vest, so I can practice hiking without having to throw on the pack, hiking with weight, and figuring that out. Elevation is still my biggest challenge. Fitness, just breathing when I'm climbing. That's the trickiest part for me so far. So I think I do need some sort of aerobic exercise, maybe do some stairs, like some stadium stairs, or even just a stairwell at my work, which I do sometimes, but maybe I should step that up. Maybe I should get a Nordic track. Nordic track with iFit. Eh? I'm telling you, voice of Nordic track right here. Incredibly rude of me when I was mentioning bespoke woodsmen or bespoke backpackers. I mentioned that Blue Boy video, but gosh, I really was speaking out of turn by not mentioning Jeremiah Stringer on the Hikers Network and his dapper neck-tied self. So I'm real sorry, Jeremiah. I didn't mean to hurt your feelings. Hopefully you kept watching the video this long and dry your tears on that necktie. That's the beauty of a necktie. You can dry your tears with it. Anyway, So that's it, just Blue Boy and Jeremiah Stringer. And no one else that I can think of, although I feel like I'm going to eat my words. I'm nearing the end of the trail, so it's unlikely that I'm going to zone out and think of someone else. I'm getting near the end of this hike. Whew, that was a challenge. Appreciate you coming along with me. Again, my name is Grimace. This is the Bespoke Woodsman. If you got any enjoyment out of this video, it's hard to imagine, but if you did, please click the thumbs up button. Click thumbs down if you didn't, and leave a comment if you'd like to discuss hiking, backpacking, YouTube. If you have any questions at all, would love to connect. Click subscribe, smash that notification bell. I mean, geez, just obliterate that notification bell. What is it still doing on your screen? Just punch the monitors, kick it, kick the bell, kick it. Anyway, hey, let's do this again sometime. This was empty when I got here. Now everyone's here. Usually you park, there's a picnic table, a picnic area up there where I stopped on the Gabrielino Trail hike. You see the snow-capped mountains, aren't they pretty? And it was full, so I parked here, and then look at all these friends I've made. Hey friends.